Have a holly jolly Christmas, it's the best time of the year. Now I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer. Have a holly jolly Christmas, and when you walk down the street, say hello to friends you know and everyone you meet. Oh, the mistletoe is hung where you can see. Somebody waits for you, kiss her once for me. Have a holly jolly Christmas, and in case you did...
Welcome to day 14 of Vlogmas. I'm more than halfway through. Wow, it's actually going like really smooth and I'm having a lot of fun. So I'm going to answer another question with some baking. I was asked if I have a favorite holiday sweet, and I actually do. I make this every Christmas. It's brown sugar fudge, and I got the recipe out of our local newspaper a good 20 years ago, and I make it every Christmas. So I am about to list the ingredients, and then I'll show you the process of making brown sugar fudge. Okay, you're going to need 3 cups of brown sugar, 1 cup of butter, 2/3 of a cup of evaporated milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 4 cups of icing sugar, and have this prepared. I have a 9 by 12, like just a glass casserole dish lined with tin foil, and I'm going to give it a spray with just any kind of cooking spray. Okay. there is your delicious brown sugar fudge. So make sure you let this cool at room temperature. Don't throw it in the fridge, because if you do and take it out and then try to cut it, it's going to crack. It cuts so much more nicely into squares if you just let it cool at room temperature. Okay, enjoy.
Don't think I have the energy to add to my already mad rush. Just because it is the season, the perfect gift for me would be complete.
Hi there, it is later in the afternoon. It is 3 o'clock. Just got home from having lunch with my mom and the kids and ran a couple of errands. So I thought I should probably get on and talk a little knitting. And yesterday I talked about my all-time favorite knit, which was that campsite shawl. I forgot to mention that's a free pattern as well. So if you liked it and wanted to make that, so I thought I'd throw on a sweater that I adore that I made a couple of years ago. Most people know this pattern. It's the Ninilchik Swoncho by Caitlin Hunter. Anyway, I love this. I love it so much. I'm probably, like, I didn't wear it out for lunch today just because it's a sweater that, because it is a sweater poncho, you have a little bit of a, like, the bat wing. So it's hard to put a jacket on, and it's super slushy and rainy. We got our first snowfall today, so it's kind of wet and yucky out, so I needed a jacket, and it's hard to fit a jacket on over this. This is kind of like a great fall or a spring, kind of sweater, but I love it. I knit it all in Plucky yarn in their DK cashmere, so I'm sorry I don't remember the colorways. And this whole combination was not me. It was on the Plucky on Instagram. I follow their feed, and one of them had knit this pattern with this exact color combination, and I love it. Like, I would have never put this together. So, I mean, it's great to get inspiration following other people for ideas to think outside of the box, because orange, green, black, gray, that would never come to mind for me to think that I would love it. And I do. I love this so much. So if you look right here, I did make a mistake, but I don't care. So yeah, it's got this like heathered gray, this great green with the black and the orange. So yeah, it's just a great poncho sweater, and I love this yarn. It's so soft and cozy. It's got perfect drape for this pattern. Gina from Skein Cocaine had knit this as well. She may have knit a couple of them, to be honest, but she did one in her DK tweed in like a softer palette. It's gorgeous. So I want to do one like that as well. So I have some tweed on hand, so I think I'm going to dye up like a softer palette and do another one of these, because it's a great pattern. This color work is so much fun. I love Caitlin Hunter's patterns. They're easy to read, they're charted great, and it's just, this is a fit of a sweater that would look good on anybody. I mean, this is, I think, the second size. I can't remember. That's another thing. I don't do Ravelry. I do Ravelry to peek at patterns, but I don't keep notes on sizes. And I kind of do that on Instagram though. So if I ever have to kind of go back and look, I sometimes have decent notes on Instagram for any modifications. But yeah, just wanted to share another knitting pattern that you might want to peek at. And yeah, and also you'd have a lot of fun just picking out your colors for what kind of pattern, what combo you'd like to have. So there's sweater of the day. I'm going to take 2 minutes and just answer a couple more questions because they are knitting related. And one question I got the other day was, when did I start knitting? I started knitting when I was little, like with my nan after school. I used to spend a lot of time with my nan in the summers and after school, and we would always like needlepoint or embroider or knit or bake or you name it. So I used to knit my Cabbage Patch Kids sweaters, and I still remember going to Zellers and picking out like ducky, like little baby buttons for the sweaters. I remember one was a duck. It was so cute. I wish I still had those. God knows what's happened to them. So, and then I didn't knit for a long time, gave it up, like, you know, you hear a lot of people do. And my friend Michelle got me back into it. We both had sons on a baseball team together, and we would just kind of sit, you know, most of these games you have to be there an hour beforehand, and she would be sitting there knitting, and I was like, oh, I used to knit. Like, you know, can you get me to wrap my head around trying this again? And Michelle, you are such a patient, good teacher, your wording, everything. So I jumped right back into knitting with her. And it was so funny because I called her one night because I picked up a pattern, had no idea what I was doing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, what does RS and WS mean? And it was right side, wrong side. So that's like where I started. It was just like troubleshooting, YouTube, emergency phone calls to Michelle. Yeah, so how often do I knit? I would say every day, like usually in the morning. I'm not a nighttime knitter, maybe a little bit after supper, but then I'm just tired and I go to bed early. So yeah, I definitely don't really knit at night.
Where's she at?
Ooh,
What y'all doing?
there goes my phone. Sorry. Is there any new techniques I want to learn? Probably. I mean, there's like, I know people thought I was being funny when I said I'm not really like a good knitter. I'm not a technical knitter. Like I could not work at a yarn store and help people or fix mistakes. Like I can kind of read and help myself, but that's kind of as far as I go. But as for like new techniques, like I would just probably be that person that starts knitting a pattern and then I get to something and have to learn it, like a bobble or like, I mean, I've done bobbles, but I'd have to relearn how to do that. So thank goodness for YouTube. And regarding Christmas and traditions, what my traditions are is, well, you've seen a couple of them. My family party, girlfriend parties. There's a neighborhood party that's coming up this Friday. And then Christmas Eve, you know, we have a few friends and family over, munchies. Christmas morning, I have my mom and my dad and my stepfather and Mitch's parents for breakfast. And then we usually go to mom's for supper. And that's my kind of tradition. That's what we do every year. Keep it simple, but yeah. And my tradition for a sweet is the fudge that I've recorded earlier to show you. And yeah, I think that's it. Anyway, yeah, this is my knitting chit chat for the day. I've had a couple people ask if I would talk about my journals and kind of like how I do it and what I use and what each journal has a purpose for. So I'm so happy to do that. I love hearing about other people's journals and what they keep them for. Sandy by the lakeside just mentioned how she's continuing to do something that her mom did, which is a Christmas journal. And oh my gosh, I totally wish I had been doing that all these years, just keeping a journal of, you know, what you've done, what you cooked, what you bought for presents. And so mid-season, I am going to start Christmas journaling. I'm just waiting for my new weeks to arrive from Paper Plus Cloth. I just got another new journal and cover, so I think it should be arriving any day. So I'll show you guys when it arrives. And I think I'm going to set it up as my Christmas journal. So yeah, I'll get into my journaling supplies and my journal habits with you another day. So until then, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing tonight. It's probably going to be quiet. We just had a big lunch, so I don't even want supper. Like if we have supper, it's going to be like toast and eggs and keep it easy. That's probably it for today. So I will talk to you later.